In the grand dance of the universe, everything moves to a rhythm. Everything sways. Everything pulses in perfect cycles. This is the fifth Hermetic Principle, the law of rhythm, a universal truth that invites us to notice the pull of the tides, the turning of the seasons, and the rise and fall of our own lives. The goal of living by this law is to find harmony within chaos, balance in the face of constant change. Today we'll explore the mystery behind this cosmic rhythm and how it flows through every part of existence. Picture the universe as an endless dance, a constant movement from one side to the other, a flow and an ebb that never ceases. This is rhythm, unseen but always there, subtle yet impossible to ignore. The fifth Hermetic Principle, known as the law of rhythm, teaches us that everything in the universe moves in cycles. There's always a push and a pull, a rise and a fall, a forward motion and a step back. This law applies to everything from galaxies and stars to people and animals, to thought, energy, and matter itself. It shows itself in the birth and death of worlds, in the rise and collapse of civilizations, in the life of every living being, and even in the moods and states of our own minds. Everything flows in and out, in a pendulum swing that shapes existence. Like the tides of the ocean, there's always a moment of movement forward, followed by a pullback. What rises will eventually fall. What is born will someday fade away. Just as everything began with an emanation, a great expansion, so too at some point that movement will reverse itself, pulling everything back to where it all began. This is the breath of God. And this rhythm doesn't just move the cosmos, it also shapes our lives. Look at how each day moves between sunlight and darkness. Our emotions shift from joy to sorrow. Our energy swings between action and stillness. This is the rhythm of life. Everything starts and everything comes to an end. To understand the law of rhythm is to know that nothing lasts forever, not happiness, not sadness. Everything moves, everything changes. Like the pendulum, the universe is always searching for balance within the swing, and that is the secret of universal harmony. On the vast stage of the cosmos, rhythm is the invisible conductor. Galaxies spin in elegant spirals. Stars are born in glowing nurseries and die in brilliant explosions, returning to the dust of space. Every flash of light, every shift among the stars follows a cycle. Nothing stands still. Everything dances to the beat of a universal rhythm. Look up at the sky. The sun rises and sets in a perfect pattern, a rhythm that makes life possible on Earth. The phases of the moon guide the tides, influence fertility, and even affect our moods. The universe breathes, it expands and contracts, as if the whole cosmos were alive. And here on Earth, the same rhythm appears. The seasons move in harmony. Spring brings new life. Summer brings growth. Autumn offers harvest. And winter gives rest. This is the eternal cycle of renewal. Just like in nature, Our lives follow these same patterns: ebb and flow, birth and death, inhalation and exhalation. Rhythm is the signature of the all. And when we truly observe it, we see that change isn't our enemy. It's part of life's dance. Understanding this law brings us into alignment with the cosmic order, accepting that even the strongest forces follow the rhythm of universal harmony. Rhythm isn't just something out there, it lives within us. Our blood flows in a steady stream. Our hearts beat to their own unique cadence, and our breath rises and falls in the rhythm of life. And what about the ocean tides? They surge forward and draw back, as if following a heavenly choreography written by the moon. Just like the sea, our thoughts and feelings also rise and fall in cycles. Nothing escapes the pendulum swing of rhythm. Look closely and you'll see the quiet harmony woven into every part of nature. Rivers flow toward the ocean, but never in chaos. They follow paths shaped by gravity and earth. Trees grow slowly, stretching and resting with the rhythm of the seasons. Even the smallest insect, hidden deep in the forest, lives in sync with the world around it. The law of rhythm reminds us this universe isn't random, it's deeply ordered. Behind every seeming disorder is a perfect dance, an oscillation that keeps everything in balance. When we look closely enough, we see that what we call chaos is simply a rhythm we haven't yet learned to read. When we align ourselves with nature's cycles, we begin to live in harmony with the universe. And just like the sun rises after the darkest night, we can trust that every fall will lead to a new beginning. This is the eternal rhythm of creation, a truth that echoes through every corner of the cosmos. In our lives, rhythm quietly shapes every single moment. From the moment we're born, we begin moving with the cycles of existence. Rhythm brings energy and curiosity. Youth drives us with passion and ambition. Maturity teaches us responsibility and reflection. And old age shows us the wisdom of slowing down. Everything has its season, and every phase has its reason. But rhythm doesn't only show up in life's big transitions, it's there in our everyday experience. Some days we feel full of energy, inspired, ready to take on anything. Other days we're tired, quiet, and we just need stillness and rest. These ups and downs are natural, part of the inner pendulum that swings inside all of us. Even our emotions follow this principle. There are moments of joy when everything feels bright, and others when sadness or restlessness take over. Trying to resist these changes is pointless. Wanting to stay in one emotional state forever, whether joy or calm, is like trying to stop a river from flowing. The key is learning to observe without clinging. When you're in a high moment, enjoy it, but know it will pass. And when you're in a tough spot, remember, the tide always turns and light always comes back. As the Persian poet Rumi once said, "This too shall pass." It's the pendulum of life, swinging from one side to the other, but always coming back to the center. The law of rhythm isn't a punishment or a trap. It's a reminder that everything we go through is part of something bigger. Once we understand that, we stop fighting the tides and we learn to move with them. That's how we find harmony. Think of your emotions like an invisible pendulum, swinging between opposites. One moment we feel joy, energy, and lightness. The next we may be overtaken by sadness, anger, or frustration. This swing is natural dash, part of the universal rhythm that governs all life. But most of us try to resist it. When we're happy, we want to hold on to it forever, as if we could freeze time. But the pendulum must swing. It's powered by the very force of the universe. The more we cling to one side, the stronger it swings to the other. That's the trap. The higher the joy, the deeper the potential for sorrow. And when we're in a low state, we tend to fight it, desperately searching for a way out. But like the pendulum returning to center, the difficult emotions will also pass. Resisting them is like trying to stop ocean waves with your hands. The secret is to let the motion happen. Without resistance, without attachment. Spiritual masters throughout time have shared the same truth. Neutrality is the key. Hermes Trismegistus wrote, "The master is not a slave to the pendulum. He observes the motion, but doesn't get swept away by it." Understanding this means learning to stay centered, to rest at the midpoint of the swing. That's where peace lives. When you feel a strong emotion, good or bad, pause. Watch it like a witness. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this? Where is this pendulum swinging? This simple act of noticing can break the loop of reactivity and bring clarity. Think of your emotions like the weather. One day it's sunny, the next it rains. You can't control the sky, but you can choose how to move through it. The law of rhythm teaches us not to get caught in extremes. You are not the storm, and you're not the sunshine either. You are the sky that holds them both. Truly understanding the emotional pendulum is freeing. It shows us that nothing lasts forever, not the hard moments and not the blissful ones either. That knowledge doesn't make us numb. It makes us wise. It lets us enjoy the highs without losing ourselves and face the lows without being broken. Right at the center of the pendulum, we find balance. And in that balance, we find real freedom. At its core, the law of compensation reveals the deeper truth of universal balance. The word compensation suggests a counterbalance. And that's exactly how Hermetic teachings use the concept. As the Kybalion puts it, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. It uncovers the hidden principle at work behind everything in the universe, from the most basic, physical experiences to the most profound expressions of spirit. In the great cosmic dance, the law of compensation acts as the guardian of balance between opposites. Simply put, every motion in one direction is always matched by a return in the opposite direction. One movement balances the other. We see this clearly on the physical level. Take a clock's pendulum. It swings one way and then swings back equally the other way. Or consider the tides. They rise under the full moon and pull back with equal force during the waning moon. The changing seasons move between heat and cold, in a beautiful flow, showing the rhythm of all cycles. Even a projectile launched into the air is pulled back down by gravity in perfect balance. But Hermetic wisdom goes further than physical examples. It teaches that this law applies to every part of our human experience, even to our thoughts and emotions. A person who feels subtle joys will also know subtle pains, and someone who suffers deeply may be able to feel even deeper joy. Just like everything in nature, we as humans constantly shift between highs and lows, pleasure and pain. And compensation is what balances those extremes. There's a law at work here, a law that governs how much joy or sorrow we experience. And compensation is the scale that keeps the universe in order. On a deeper level, the law of compensation teaches that if we're to experience true joy, we must at some point have faced a matching level of pain. But Hermeticists also reveal something more subtle. They teach that while pain and pleasure are connected, it doesn't mean joy must always be paid for with suffering. In fact, the joy you feel today may simply be a return swing, a reward for suffering you experienced long ago, maybe even in a past life. This changes how we see suffering. Suffering isn't a punishment. It's part of a natural cycle. The pendulum swings, and with time, pleasure will come to balance it out. Even joy is temporary, and its own balance will arrive in another time or in another form. This law plays out in everyday human life. Everything we have or don't have comes with some form of cost. Nothing comes without something else being given up. So while the rich may enjoy material comfort, they might lack the inner peace or simplicity that the poor sometimes find. Material wealth often comes with emotional or spiritual burdens. A millionaire may live in luxury, yet lack the health or appetite to enjoy it. Meanwhile, a humble worker with far less may savor a modest meal with deep satisfaction. Finding joy in the simple things. The law of compensation is always at work, a force moving constantly to restore universal balance. It is the engine behind cosmic order, pushing the pendulum of life back toward the center. Its movements might not be instant, but they always follow life's natural rhythm. Through joy and pain, through gain and loss, we learn how to walk through the cycles of existence. In the end, every swing finds its balance, and harmony is restored. The law of rhythm cannot be stopped, but it can be understood. And through that understanding, with practice, it can be mastered. Once you understand that life moves in cycles, you can start preparing for its shifts. Instead of being swept away by them, true wisdom is learning to ride the waves of rhythm, not fight against them. First, observe the cycle. Most people go through life unaware of the patterns shaping their experience. But rhythm always leaves signs. When you begin to pay attention, you'll notice that your emotions, energy levels, and even outside events move in patterns. For example, after days of high productivity at work, you may feel mentally or physically drained. That's not weakness. It's your body's natural rhythm trying to restore balance. Second, learn to anticipate the shifts. If you know that a period of expansion will eventually lead to contraction, you can meet the moment with grace. When you're feeling joyful, feel grateful. But stay grounded, knowing that the state will pass. And when times get tough, remind yourself, this won't last forever. The tide will turn. One powerful way to handle life's strong swings is conscious breathing. When the pendulum feels too intense, stop and take a breath. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for 4, then slowly exhale for 8. This simple practice calms the mind and brings you back to center. Another helpful practice is silence. Set aside time each day for stillness, whether through meditation or quiet reflection. In this space, you reconnect with the rhythm of the universe, without becoming controlled by it. Above all, embrace acceptance. Don't resist the natural shifts of life. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's moving with wisdom. When the pendulum swings, it isn't chaos. It's following the laws that keep everything in balance. The rhythm never stops. What truly matters is how you choose to move with it. Learn to listen to your inner rhythm, the tides of your own soul, and bring yourself into harmony with the universal flow. In the end, understanding and living by the law of rhythm is the key to real freedom. Thank you for watching.